What's up, guys? So what I wanted to go ahead and do in this video is actually show you this side hustle that I talk about at the end of my review videos. It's the business model that I think is worked best for me over the course of time. I've seen it work really, really well for others as well. So this will be more of like a deeper dive, but still just a broad overview of what this business model entails and kind of like the results that you see from it. So I guess I'll start off by explaining this website right here. So I don't actually own a tree service company, but I do own this website. I've owned this website for 5 years, which just goes to show the sustainability and long-term potential for this kind of business model compared to something else like running an ad agency or doing drop shipping or Amazon FBA. With the volatility and all those business models, this has remained remarkably consistent. So what happens is somebody visits this site because they need tree removal, emergency tree removal, tree trimming, pruning, stump removal, stuff like that. They call this number. Now, this number, guys, this number actually goes to a contractor that I'm partnered with who actually takes the calls. And he's happy to take the calls because it just means extra work for him. So, for example, the reason why they visit this website is because when they type in Noblesville Tree Services or any kind of variation, I show up as number one. I've been number one for 5 years. I'm actually above the map pack, which is pretty impressive in and of itself. So it's just like I basically own this top spot of real estate. And people have scroll fatigue. You know, no one's going to be scrolling for days, right? And, you know, randomly pick this site right here, right? Like, it's not going to happen. They're always going to pick the top 1, 2, or 3 spots or somewhere in this map pack. So I've been here for a while. I get a majority of the calls. And all it took was publishing this site, writing some content, doing some backlinks, which I'll explain kind of more here in a second. And yeah, just it ranks, it works, it gets calls. So just to kind of show you calls, right? So this is actually my call log that I have of recent calls that have come through. You see like the status on some of them, like some of the times they weren't picked up, other times they were completed, recorded. Some spam calls occasionally come through, but I can basically view all my calls. And I went ahead and I took a screenshot here of my actual text alerts that I have that come through. So I can actually see like the call duration. I can click this link right here. I can go into it, listen to the call, you know, check lead quality and all that stuff for my contractor. He typically, like, he'll let me know, but it's a pretty awesome business model because all I have to do is get the phone to ring. If I get the phone to ring, then I've done my job, because from there, most people need these services done pretty much right away. It's not like someone's going to look at a car and there may be window shopping services, stuff like that. You want to focus on call-centered, service-based businesses. So it's like you need to call a roofer. You don't just walk into a roofing place, right? Anything that's walk-in is not necessarily the best strategy. It's typically like your emergency types of services, like tree service, roofing if there's like a really bad storm or leak or something like that. It's kind of emergency. Plumbing, electricians. There's so many options. So it's kind of just a great business model. Now these sites, like, how do you monetize it, right? You guys are wondering, well, like, okay, this site ranks, but how does it make you money every single month? So what happens is, over the course of like a 2-week trial period, you kind of figure out how much call volume is coming in, and you generally price it accordingly. See, contractors are really familiar with this thing called a finder's fee. So that means if another contractor, maybe one of their friends or maybe a family member, something like that, brings them a referral, they'll pay a referral fee or they'll pay a finder's fee. This is super common. So if I'm bringing 10, 20, 30 of these referrals per month and he's landing these as jobs, maybe like 50% or whatever his close rate is, then you typically find out a percentage based off of the total amount of the jobs, the money made, and you can either do just a strictly percentage basis, which is totally cool, or you can figure out a monthly fee that works for both of you. Now, personally, I like percentage deals just because there's generally more money in that and there's no risk to the business owner whatsoever. But I know plenty of people who do monthly recurring fees just because it's easier for everybody involved, and your contractor may actually prefer it. So it could be like $500 to $2,000 a month is generally what these sites are actually worth. And so if you have, 5 to 10 of these things, it could be a pretty good passive income source alongside whatever other income sources you have, like maybe a full-time job. See, what I like best about this business model is it legitimately only takes an hour or two after work to work on one of these sites, and over the course of maybe a week, you have a whole new site up. It's pretty awesome. Like, the longest part of the process is, one, it's going to be waiting for it to rank. These things take about 6 to 8 weeks to rank, generally speaking, if you do the right type of rich niche research and competition due diligence. And then writing the content for the website. I'll admit, writing content is boring, but it's something I'm extremely good at doing. And it's clearly stood the test of time. Like I said, 5 years, I haven't touched it. Now, expenses, right? So you have real estate that's like super capital intensive. You have Amazon FBA, which you have to buy thousands of dollars in inventory and spend thousands of dollars on ads. Same with e-commerce. This is a very, very low barrier to entry. You basically have... Sorry about that, guys. That was kind of our cat making funny noises here. So anyway, you basically have your domain name. So that's about $10 for the year. Then you have your hosting, which is like $15 a month. And then you have your tracking phone number, which is also about $15 a month. So your overhead is extremely low compared to a whole bunch of other business models, meaning your profit margin is extremely high. So like I said, if you have that $500 a month, but you only have $30 in expenses, I don't know what the profit margin is on that, but it's definitely somewhere in the 90%. So it's also very, you basically don't have a whole lot of upkeep, which makes it, again, mostly passive, hour or two a day if you needed to check anything. Whereas with Amazon FBA, packing, shipping, well, I guess not with Amazon FBA, but you'd be doing ads management, account management, searching for new products. If you did like an ad agency, you're really monitoring your account, and it sucks because rising ad costs and account suspensions on a whim these days. So overall, like, it's really worked out for me. I think it makes the most sense. If you guys want to learn more about it, I would say go ahead, check out this page right here. It's this private invite that I have for you guys here on the channel. I don't run ads or anything like that. I really only promote it on this channel. And basically answers a whole bunch of questions for you, like, why is this the best way to make money? How does it still work? What about ChatGPT? Doesn't it take forever to rank in Google? Like, we answer all these questions for you, all these testimonial videos, and at the very end of it, you learn how much, of course, that it costs, and everything is just fully transparent. I really like this simply because of the transparency. I think in the online guru space, there is very, very little transparency these days, so it's always good to see someone who does it right. So if you guys are interested, go ahead, click that link down in the description below. You guys can totally get started with this, and I'm excited to see you on the other side.